Yeah, my name is Edward Katende. I am an Executive Director of Uganda Development Forum. I want to congratulate my brother Willie for this far he has come. We started the conversion when I worked here in London as an insolvency practitioner, but working with him, we came to meeting like this. Opportunities back in Uganda were presented to us. I just went to test opportunities and I stayed there. I left what people call the big monies in London, went to Uganda where actually than what I was making here in London. So for those who are still in London, it is great, keep working. For those who want to come back, don't fear to make the leap to join us. Our economy, like they are presented, is growing, expected to grow 10 times between now and 2040. We have great opportunities. So on this panel, we have colleagues who are investing, who are involved in those 4 sectors that we have mentioned earlier. So the ATMs, as they call them. But they are also enablers. I think in the morning, Governor, you did not talk about the enablers. While we have the ATMs, those are sectors. But we also have the enablers that will power our 10-fold growth strategy, including infrastructure, security, and other sectors of the economy. So for real jobs, certainly the 4, but our key enablers are still open for investment. So I want to start with the lady on my immediate right, Juliana. Everyone will be given at least 2 minutes to break the ice. Tell us about who you are, what you're doing, and why you are here. Juliana.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. My name is Juliana Kagwa. I'm the relatively new Chief Executive Officer of Uganda Tourism Board. And in a nutshell, I think the question was, why are we here?
Yes, why are you here?
I'm here to sell Uganda.
Very good. You will have you will have your say.
Should I add on from there? Or?
Okay, since you have 2 minutes.
Since I have my 2 minutes. The reason why, I came accompanied by some of my team members is to see how we start to reopen, what we're calling reopen the UK as a source market. Before or prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the UK was one of the biggest markets in terms of number of tourists coming into Uganda per year, in excess of 100,000. So we're now dwindling, a little bit under there. And we're trying to see how we start to get the tourists in this country, of which, by the way, diasporans are also part of the tourists. When you come home, it's not enough to just see your families. You must explore Uganda. You must adventure in Uganda. You must also start to immerse yourself in the products that we call whitewater rafting, that we call mountain climbing. Because if you don't subscribe to your own products or your own destination, it becomes very difficult to convince then people who are not indigenously Ugandans. So it's a two-pronged approach. We want diasporans to come home, and then we also want, British-born citizens to come home as well and experience and explore Uganda. More importantly, I think in my last maybe 30 seconds, the other opportunity that we're going to leverage being here for the UK Africa Summit is we're talking tourism investment. So we are conscious that we've got, a beautiful location, a beautiful destination, God-given assets. But we're also conscious of the fact that we must diversify or grow our products. So we're looking at avenues like agro-tourism. And so you've seen the work we're doing in the coffee space. We're looking at sports tourism. We're looking at faith tourism. Uganda is one of the most, I think we proudly host one of the biggest shrines in the world, a shrine that commemorates the Uganda martyrs. And those who don't know anything that I'm talking about, please just start Googling So the Uganda Martyrs, it's a beautiful story that we want to start amplifying, not just one time in the year, but all year round. Recently we had the Rwenzori Marathon, which is now certified and globally recognized, and we're running in the beautiful ranges of Mount Rwenzori. So we're offering way more than wildlife now, and the opportunity, I think, for us to work together with the Ugandans in this room and outside is to start to get more UK visitors to come home and also spend more. So it's one thing to increase the numbers, but we're also trying to see if they can come with more money.
Thank you. Eric, she has taken 4 minutes. So.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Eric Olanya. I'm the country director for a UK government-owned company called Gridworks. We invest in electricity transmission and distribution, and we are in Uganda looking at a number of projects. We are a developer of infrastructure projects. Earlier this morning, the Minister of Energy, who has been a great supporter for us, talked about independent power transmission as one of the key areas of investment, which is what we are doing. We are piloting, and we are really pleased with the progress we have made so far. Why are we here? We're here as a developer. We work with EPC contractors, with environmental companies, with engineering companies, and really the full basket of companies that work on infrastructure projects. So we're here to build those relationships. Thank you.
Thank you. Hilary.
Protocol observed. Good evening. I'm Dr. Hilary Emma Musoke, Senior Presidential Advisor to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda in charge of agribusiness and value addition development. And my coming here today is to amplify the President's call for agribusiness development in the country. You are very much aware that Uganda, as many presenters have told you, is one of those few countries with very, very fertile soils, evergreen, receiving a lot of rain. It has good people, and most of its young people and old people depend on agriculture. But the opportunities in agriculture are not yet harnessed. That's why the President's call is to add value at our source. UK is very much aware that you are our godfathers during colonialism who nurtured us into commercial agriculture. But after you forgot us, you came and developed, and Uganda's agricultural sector went down. You introduced coffee, cotton, tobacco, tea, and tourism as Uganda's commercial cash crops. But we want to inform you now that you have over 50 cash crops as a country, that you can add value from Uganda and make products. So this summit is very, very important to see that you come back home to the forgotten children whom you left. But now we are at a terrific speed. I want to interest every investor in this room who has never been to Uganda to come back home. Uganda is peaceful. Uganda is developing. Uganda is not a dark state as you left it. Please, everyone in Europe, come and invest in Uganda. I'll add on more, but that was a good preamble for me to...
I hand over to Perez. Tell us about yourself and why you are here.
Why I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Perez Ochieng. I'm the CEO and founder of Sakoma Global Foods Innovation. We are a company based here in the UK. We have been in existence for over 30 years, and our focus has been purely around agriculture. But as innovators and creators, of which we have won several awards, we have put ideas into action, and not only become innovators, but actually implementers of new ideas. So we progressed on from just mere imports and export of agricultural produce in the last 10 years, and we have now become a knowledge base around food and agriculture. Why am I here? Because as Edward, you know, many years we spent in Spitalfield Market importing fresh produce from all over the world, including Uganda, one of them, and Kenya and other places. But the biggest challenge we faced was the quality, the packaging, and so many other things along the supply chain, post-harvest handling technologies, and shelf life. So we moved on into product development and innovation. Why am I here? Other than just importing and sourcing and developing new products, we have escalated our knowledge as African in the diaspora to link up with the global things and actions around food and agriculture. And we've been recently called to go to solve food solutions in countries like Seoul, Korea, and Taiwan. And I'm here to share that knowledge. And that knowledge is about intellectual property right in the agricultural sector. We can talk so much about value addition and looking for export market and breaking through to find new markets. But the truth is that most of our farmers or food processors do not own the intellectual property rights of their processes. This is where asset is created. And this is where we can actually create value for our farmers and processors for us to compete in the global markets. So competition is not just about food products, nor is it about quality, but it's about awareness of the way that we get into new markets by having assets that are owned by us. When I talk about asset as an intellectual property right, I ask simple questions like, when you talk about Kenya tea, or you talk about Uganda coffee, or you talk about matoke, what does it mean to eat matoke bread or matoke as a food? What is the process behind that? And who owns that? When we answer that questions, we begin to develop a pathway for creating assets for these products. And the producers can begin to have real assets in their hands that they can use to compete in global markets. We talk about kimchi. Kimchi is just fermented cabbage. Do we have anything in Africa that is better than kimchi? Yes, we have. Why we do not have global markets for this? So this is why I am here, to begin to share this knowledge and to create partnership that already exists with some of our partners are here, and to make these actions real. We are not just talking. It's now sharing the knowledge, imparting the knowledge, and holding hands to make sure that we can compete at knowledge and data level like many countries that are exceeding in the food sector are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Prez. I'll come back to you. Elias, while you're here, what do you do?
My name is Engineer Elias Mugisha. I'm a private secretary to His Excellency the President on matters of infrastructure and public works. Why am I here?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I am here I believe this forum is the best place to support Uganda in bridging the deficit gap in infrastructure development. According to World Bank, we have a deficit gap of we need to spend about $1.4 billion every year for the next 10 years to be able to bridge this deficit gap. And we believe that the ECAs, the export credit agencies like UKEF and the investors, the contractors in the UK would help us in bridging this gap. So why I'm here is to share my experience. In addition to that, I sit on the steering committee that supervises Karuma and Isimba. These are the two biggest hydropower dams in the country. At the same time, I advise the board's chair of National Planning Authority in consolidating planning, especially infrastructure planning. Initially, we've been planning in silos, according to every different ministry, MDAs. So I'm bringing my experience and expertise in consolidating infrastructure to avoid the silo planning, and at the same time to promote infrastructure development in the country. Yes, so infrastructure cross-cuts almost every sector here. Let it be tourism, you need roads, you need, if you talk about industrialization, you need the cost of doing business. If you look at the cost of, I saw my Honorable Minister here for Trade, every consumable, 60% of a cost is brought up by transport and energy. So if you're consuming a soda, just know that 60% of the cost is the transport and energy costs are embedded in that. So if we bring down the cost of doing business in Uganda, then we shall promote industrialization. If you talk about housing, I saw a couple of people in the housing. Yes, so housing brings down the cost of even infrastructure. It becomes so hard to provide power if all houses are scattered. If it's a more planned and gazetted area, if you've been here to a number of neighborhoods in the UK, you'll notice it's easier, first of all, to man security. You just need one person at the gate. If I go to some neighborhoods in Uganda, each household needs a security guard. So not only it cross-cuts across tourism, but also when you mention about issues of the cost of doing business, you will find that my Honourable Minister for Energy has been talking about the interventions that government is putting in, let it be the oil and gas, the last mile in electricity. All these cross-cut in public sector infrastructure. So I'm here to share my experience, but also get some of the challenges that the contractors and investors are facing in appraising their projects. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
You are promoting Uganda as a tourist destination. I read an article somewhere that we have overtaken Kenya in terms of numbers. I don't know how true that is. But also, what are we doing to attract, especially our children? My children are here. They traveled this summer to Uganda. They had a negative perception about our country, what they have been seeing on social media. But I took it upon myself, without any security man or even somebody with an arrow, who drove across the country. By the time they finished, they said their perception of Uganda has changed. Does that perception also cut across the non-Ugandan tourists? And what are you doing about it?
Okay. Thank you for that. So, first of all, no, we have not overtaken Kenya.
Okay.
There's still work to be done. The last reading or the last numbers that we have, we are attracting about 1.3 million visitors annually. Kenya is tapering at about 5.4 million. Tanzania is also above the 5 million man mark. So that is generally our target for 2030. But we are telling ourselves as Ugandans and people that know what the assets are, and I'll go into that in terms of what we're doing to improve the perception and also unpack or demystify Uganda, as it were. We believe we can do that in a shorter amount of time. 2030 is too far for us to reach the 5 million man mark, given what we know about Uganda. So Uganda, simply put, for those who don't know, but of course majority of us here are Ugandans or have some kind of roots. Uganda, simply put, is one of the most beautiful locations on earth. And you can take that to the bank. Period.
I agree.
Inarguably. That one, we can sit and argue the whole day. We've got in excess, I think, over 165 lakes. In 241,000 square kilometers, we've got 165 lakes. Freshwater lakes. We've got the largest tropical lake in the world. Tropical lake. Which means in terms of biodiversity, it is unmatched on this globe. Over 200 species of biodiverse, call it amphibians, reptiles, fish, are in Lake Victoria. Untapped. We've got 1,000 plus species of birds. And in those, there's some that are, nearing extinction. So this might be the last generation to actually see some of these birds if we don't do anything about it from a conservation perspective. We're proudly called the primate capital of the world. There's a reason for that. We've got 20 species of primates. Nowhere else in the world will you find that combination, that variety of primates. Of the 5 great apes on planet Earth, 3 of them are in Uganda. This is my favorite thing to say.
Very good.
No. I'm still coming, moderator.
Yeah.
These 3 great apes. The first one, obviously, is the gorilla that we talk about, that we proudly, we've got 29 families of gorillas in Uganda. The second great ape is a chimpanzee. Anybody offering the third great ape?
The monkey?
No. And it's not a baboon either. It is us. Yes. We are the third great ape that lives in Uganda. And a very unique great ape. Underpinning all the beauty and the destination assets I've described is the human resource we have. There is no other vibrant, more diverse nation. We have 60 tribes plus. I was disappointed when I came into the room, there's no screen, because then that means I have to talk more. Otherwise, I would have just shown you what I'm talking about. The music, the dances, the vibe, the food. It is difficult for me to encapsulate it. It is difficult. A video might have done this much faster. So, moderator, you're going to indulge me. So the work we need to do is to demystify or unbank the negative narratives that are being, probably people need to sell newspapers and, somebody needs to sensationalize so that they keep a job. But you said it yourself. You went with your children and you opened their eyes. So this month, what we're doing, just one small thing we're doing, we're opening the parks. So we have World Tourism Day coming up on the 27th of September, and what we've agreed with the Uganda Wildlife Authority, in service actually of the young generation, because most of our Ugandans are young, some of them, disposable income is not as easy to come by. We're opening the parks so that Ugandans themselves can start to be ambassadors of Uganda. By the way, I'm here throwing out statistics. I'll assure you that before I started this job, I was just like you. I am learning about the biodiversity of Uganda as I go. So that work needs to be done by all of us. Unpacking, debunking these false narratives about Uganda. That's the work we're going to do. The third thing I'll say, and the last one. The last one is around product diversification. So you will allow us, and part of the reason why we're here is to seek partners in investment, seek, new products that can be, that can improve the experience of tourists. I talked about them coming to spend more, but they cannot spend more if they're not staying longer. And they can only stay longer if we are offering more diverse portfolio of products. We need to develop our lakes. We need to put vessels on there. We need to put tourism, sports, attractions on there. Everywhere else in the world, there are cable cars. We need to experience Mount Rwenzori from atop Mount Rwenzori. So we're looking for partners to develop our tourism sector investment. I'll leave it at that, moderator.
Thank you very much. And we are looking at, other than the ATMs, we are investing heavily in infrastructure. Much as we have invested a lot, especially in your area on generation, but distribution is an issue. What are the opportunities that you see in your daily work that you can tell the investors in this room to come and join you?
Thank you. I'll try and take the 3 minutes. GridWorks was set up to invest in transmission and distribution in Africa because there was a recognition of the bottlenecks in electricity transmission and the distribution. Looking at the continent, the market that GridWorks chose as its first and probably most important market was Uganda. And there's a reason for that. The reason we selected Uganda is because the regulation, the laws in the electricity sector were very well developed, and the country had experience in dealing with private sector investment and managing that investment in a way that allowed for a private developer, for the private investors to actually do a good job and make money while develop the country. So Gridworks selected Uganda as its first and to date most important country to invest in. We expect over the next maybe 3-4 years to invest about $500 million in the electricity transmission sector. We also have interest in investing further within the different subsectors in electricity, that's within distribution as well. We see that Uganda, as I already said, the structure of the sector promotes private sector investment, and we encourage the government, and as I said earlier, we thank the Ministry of Energy and other supportive ministries around it to continue in that trajectory to ensure that we continue attracting the kind of investment that is required to develop infrastructure. What do I see as opportunities in electricity and wider infrastructure? One is on the independent power transmission. That's the backlog for electricity transmission in Uganda is about $3 billion of investment required to maintain the state of development, and that means government alone cannot invest in all the infrastructure required for just transmission. That needs to come from somewhere. Companies like us are ready to come in and invest, but there'll be a need for even more companies to invest in electricity transmission. The other space, which I know the government has looked at quite a lot, has been in the diversification of power generation, including geothermal, wind, nuclear, as we see it already going in that direction, and those are areas where potential investors can look at. What I would see as I end is that there is a perception, maybe a perception that investing in markets like Uganda, because we are asked this question, why didn't you go to, when a company is thinking about investment in Africa, you always think about South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, or Egypt as your base for investment. And so there is a perception that those are the areas where there is opportunity to invest. But when you go below the surface, you realize that markets like Uganda are actually very interesting and very good for investment. And I would encourage the government representatives who are here, as well as ourselves, companies that are already investing in Uganda, to continue to encourage those with deep pockets to be able to invest, because that's what infrastructure requires. Thank you.
Thank you. I salute you, honorable ministers and honorable fellow delegates. My name is Engineer Ssempwa Ronald. I'm the technical to the Chief Coordinator of Operation Wealth Creation. I'm also the Chief Engineer of Namukekera Industrial Centre, the fastest growing industry in Uganda. We have 22 industries that are government, and we have 2 that are private, but our private, Namukekera, is the fastest growing. 2015 we were at 1 industry, 2025 we are at 40 industries. So we are growing at a rate of 2 industries per year, and we have a reason why we're growing at that rate. Thank you.
Thank you. I was told to moderate on food sector, so I want to bring you into that space as I also bring in Hilary and Perez. In the 500 billion industry by 2040, Minister of Finance has calculated that 200 billion of that will come from agro-industrialization. Yes. So what are you doing at Namukekera to tap into that industry?
Thank you so much. Now, Namukekera is a foreign direct investment. We have a very bad record in Uganda of foreign direct investments contributing to macro more than they contribute to micro. So in Namukekera, we have industrial reforms. For us, we've decided, having discovered that truth, we decided to have a task of also including the micro. So what have we done in Namukekera? What we did was to create a deliberate linkage between the industrial park and the community. Historically, Namukekera started in 1907. Here in London, it is a very, very historical industrial site. So Genoselect takes it over in 1997. But still we have inherited its contribution, because then it was contributing to Mubende, Mitiana, Chiroga, Chankwanzi, and the whole of Chagwe as a state-of-the-art coffee processing sector. So now, having revived it after the war, it is again contributing to Chankwanzi, Chiroga, Nakasongola, Nakaseke, and Luwero. So in these 5 districts, we have farmers who have approximately 15,000 acres who are deliberately distributing or supplying the industrial park. So Namukekera is an industrial and logistic hub that has empowered the farmer. So when the farmer does not normally come to the boardroom, that's why we always say who and where is the farmer. So this farmer is the one that is responsible for the products that are brought here in London, that smallholder. So for us, we decided to embrace that farmer and make him part of the vision. So the pineapples, the mangoes, the sim and the maize that we process in Namukekera and add value to is all supplied by these 5 districts. So when we talk about industrial growth, we need to bring the smallholder farmer into the picture. So Namukekera has the first state-of-the-art farmer servicing center, a farmer supermarket, where we give the farmer inputs, fertilizer, chemicals, and tractor services at a subsidized rate. So the farmer comes to us, and we are in his business to the point that we have our own extension services that goes to advise this farmer in these 5 districts. So this FDI has transformed the area, because Namukekera is a planned state or a planned site. So we invested in the physical planning of the surrounding community, what we call Kapeka sub-county. It is fully planned. Okay? So now, the impact of the industrial park has boosted this community to start up small businesses. These businesses feed into the industrial park. Namukekera is 65 kilometers away from Kampala. So instead of the industrial workers going to Kampala to buy shirts, buy shoes, buy all that, these businesses have been developed around this community. It is also a land deconfliction area.
I want to stop here because...
just this one only.
My chief whip here
okay, thank you. Now, we deconflicted a place called Kilema, where a landlord was selling 800 acres. So we deliberately gave ownership to these people, 3 villages. This opened the true value of this land. The true value of the land was released. These people became producers. Now they are the agents that are selling the industrial park products. So they are in Namukekera.
Okay. But just because I want to let you go, in 1 minute, what are you looking for? At least 2 or 3 things you're looking from this audience and I release you. 1 minute. We have re-engineered industrial reforms. What we did, we went to Kampala, got all the bayayes on Kampala Street, brought them to Kembogo. Bayayes. These are hardcore criminals.
Hardcore criminals. We brought them to Kembogo. There's a place called Kembogo. The people in the military know what happened in Kembogo. That's where we had the last battle that kicked out UNLA. So this site, we converted it into an aqua city. We created hundreds of fish ponds. Yes, Nakaseke. Also in Chigoga. Now, along the Mayanja River. Yes, in our districts. So this aqua city is producing catfish, which is brought here in UK, by the way. Processed. It is brought here, processed. And also we grind it into flour that, catfish flour. We also export it to DRC. So that is one line. We also have an avocado city where we produce avocado oil. But we still have 7,700 acres of land left. And we want to develop pharmaceutical starch. One of Uganda's challenges is pharmaceutical starch. We are tired of importing pharmaceutical starch. So we seek a partner out of you investors to come and partner with us. Okay. So that we can do the pharmaceutical starch. And we have a whole industry which we want to sell to you that are processing snacks in Namukekera.
Okay. Let me release you because time is up. I know Engineer Chibuka takes a beer, he also takes coffee. So he's available for chat, additional chat on this, to continue the conversation because the time is really against us. So you want me to close? I give them an opportunity to quickly tell us that one last thing that you feel you should have said.
This is, the moderator is trying to stop very good information. However, my appeal to the audience here. When I look into the audience, many of you are putting on leather shoes, you take coffee, you are putting on leather jackets, you are putting on cotton textile. But my friend, you may find that all those, the origin is from Uganda. You, by accident, you might be taking coffee on the street of UK, but when it came from Uganda. So our appeal to everyone in the room and the entire diaspora people to come and make factories in our country. The only way you are going to support your original child, Uganda, is to come and be part of the agricultural revolution, which is going to lead to an industrial revolution. The low levels of value addition in the country and the high numbers of our young people can be an engine to jumpstart an industrial revolution because of availability of employment, which is cheap, because of availability of market, as our Right Honorable told you, the one for East Africa, Right Honorable Kadaga, told you that we have a population of about over 300 million people in the region. So this is an opportunity for you to have a market. Let's rebrand Uganda from what you are seeing on social media and make it an investment destination. Bring friends, bring colleagues to make sure that you will be part of this agricultural and industrial revolution. The president is very deliberate with interventions that we will share on coffee and not on beer. Mr. Katende.
Yes,
we will share and we'll brief you more so that you can feel free to come to Uganda and be part of that legacy of transforming the region through agricultural development and industrialization. Thank you
very much. I know you are disciplined. You can do better than Hilary. 1 minute, please.
How many hours do I have?
1 minute.
That's right. So my pitch is about, it's really a call to action. Yeah. And so much is going on. If I say Uganda specific or maybe Africa, as we are talking about UK-Africa collaborations, trades and all this. His appeal for the people that are within the reach of my voice and the people who have networks, the people who are helping farmers and the producers to look for export market, is to understand that the global trade is changing. It's no longer the same trade routes that we used to think about. It's about quality, value addition, packaging, and getting to the market. We have now become a more data-driven technology escalators that will enable us to conquer the markets that we are looking for. And so there's a need for us to look at how do we embed data into our agriculture technology. So we are looking at data-driven agriculture. We begin to create value for our farmers and our producers so that they can own the assets. When I talk about asset, I'm not talking about land. I'm talking about asset in terms of the knowledge they have in order for them to own the intellectual property rights for those. And this will open markets. I've given a very good example of kimchi and all these products that come into the market. And then the final call is for us who have knowledge to be willing to share it and to collaborate with others. And in this building today, there are so many businesses that have met, and I'm so great we've met with Aspire Africa. We are looking at collaboration and many things we want to do together. Because to open up new markets is not about your single-handed effort. It is about, first of all, how much data do we have in our hands, and how do we manipulate this data to open up markets. It's not just data about product development and the final product which enable us. How do we leverage new technologies? I want to mention one thing that is so important. I know we talk about, say for example, this is so important. So when we talk about new technologies in agriculture, smart technology, water management technologies, we talk about agriculture, and we talk about how we are managing our resources in order to meet SDGs. But one thing that we are not realizing, even in our methods of irrigation, we are actually not utilizing the resources that are available for us to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. But there are already existing nano-water management technologies that are so precise that drive it into smart technologies, but also very data-driven so that your water management is so precise. And this is the type of technologies we are looking at. We teach them to our young people who are so enabled, involve them in our agricultural sector so that we become the creators of the knowledge and innovation.
Moderator,
thank you so much.
I want us to move a bit faster.
There is a coup coming up, so you need to calm it down.
Yes.
Elias, 1 minute, please, before they kick me off.
I just wanted to give assurance to the ECAs, the investors in this room, that there is goodwill. The president is very deliberate in promoting infrastructure in the country. If you see our budget, I think we service our debt loan. Our debt, a third of our budget is spent on servicing our debt. And again, now that I saw Internal Affairs here, I want to thank them in terms of, because Uganda is largely an informal economy, it's a cash economy. So when it comes, I've been meeting a number of investors asking me, do you have projects where feasibility studies are ready? We can't do feasibility studies that are very precise because it's largely an informal economy. So this is why they are rolling IDs, they are rolling so that they sync these added features in the national IDs and passports are going to help us to know. I'll just give you an example when we're doing getting data on the standard gauge railway. The Kenya Port Authority data was different from URIA. So how do we formalize our economy so that it is easy to prepare feasibility studies for the investors? Secondly, I want to supplement on what Afandena Kalima was saying, is that they've even formed an investment protection unit. This is the goodwill that government is willing to protect the investors, especially in the infrastructure sector. Then I've also been hearing some challenges from some of the contractors here, what we call the Public Investment Management System. This is the PIMS. The PIMS has been taking a duration for you to close a project, to appraise a project, from inception to securing a project code. It has been taking us 700 days. Now, Ministry of Finance is trying to reduce this period to almost a year. So if you come to Uganda, in 1 year you should be able to do financial closure, be able to submit and secure a code, because whatever project you're going to do, you will still need counterpart funding from Uganda. So for you, government only spends through projects. You need to secure a project code. For you to secure a project code, you need to go through this system, which is the Public Investment Management System. This is a system that was put there with 4 gates to screen projects that are viable. Now, how do projects be viable? They can't be viable unless you have the statistics.
I'm stopping you there.
Yes, I'm just closing. So, in other words, to conclude is that there is goodwill. The president has been very, very deliberate in especially promoting public sector infrastructure. So there is a disconnect between the private sector So we are here as a unit to make sure that we bridge that disconnect between the private sector and the government to be able to address the issue of public sector infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one question, I think a comment from the audience. Help me to pass on. You will be the last one because I'm going to leave you on the stage. Okay. So you'll have your final say when you take over from me.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank the panel. My issues are with Juliana. I'm glad to see you. I'm here for two reasons. One, you talked about religious tourism. I'm here to invite the people of Sussex to come to a place called Chando, where Bishop Huntington was martyred from. He's the first martyr of Uganda. Before this one we are talking about, it was because of his death that the others were killed when they complained. So that place is very important. So for Sussex, that's where Bishop Huntington came from. Secondly, I'm in the hotel industry, and I'm very enthusiastic about tourism. I have unveiled 42 sites in the Musoga chiefdoms. You know, we have 11 chiefdoms. Every chiefdom has got a sacred hill, sacred mountain, sacred caves. All these are very, very unique features. But I've moved around, talked about them, tried to market them, but no one is interested. So I'm looking here for those who can come and help us build around those places some restaurants, some accommodation, other facilities that will help us put money into that local economy. So I want to Juliana, and I want to see you in Busoga. I see everywhere else. In Ginger, baby. In Ginger, you are in Ginger.
No, Mbale.
Mbale is not Busoga, but we can have.
No. Okay.
Yes, she's coming now. So.
Yes. I want to see you in Kaguru. I want to see you in Mayuge. I want to see you in those places.
The falls.
That is Ginger again. Don't talk about Ginger. Ginger is not Busoga.
It's the capital.
So you come and we talk. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable.
I put myself on her budget. I will come along.
So, Eric, I'm not giving you a chance to say your last word.
My last word.
But, Honorable, okay. Sorry.
Yes. Yes, we've been talking about remittances from the diaspora. So many billions of dollars coming back home. The narrative is now changing. I was in New Orleans for UNA, Uganda North American Association. And we are encouraging the people from the diaspora to change from remittances to equity. So when you come here and call upon other people, please come and invest, What about you people who are in the diaspora? Are you forming companies and pool resources together, and then you come and ask us, Nankabira, what do you have? And then we guide you how you can be registered, for example, in the National Supplier Database, so that you can get contracts and be the ones to do the work. When you invite other people, you also have a role to play. Some of you are working alone. You have your hotel alone. But you can pool resources to get big contracts. You can even construct bridges. You can construct transmission lines. So I just wanted to leave this with you because we are changing the narrative of remittances to equity. I thought
there is something we are working on with the Bank of Uganda, but maybe since the Deputy Governor is here, I can give him 1 minute to explain, because we will need your support in Cabinet.
Yes, on top of the Minister of Energy and private equity, we are opening a diaspora bond. So currently our rules do not allow you to participate in as a portfolio investor, but now we are ready for you. If you are interested, we have a diaspora bond in process. To be very specific, by December, we shall be ready. So just prepare yourself to have a diaspora bond.
Thank you very much. I think, Barbara, you must leave now, because the next candidates are supposed to be here. But what I wanted to confirm here is that in Uganda, all of the conditions for success are there. Number one, we have security and stability, not just the security of people and their property, but even in terms of the macroeconomic stability, as the Deputy Governor was saying. Our currency is stable, inflation is stable. The second thing the government did, invested heavily in infrastructure. My children and their mom thought when they come to Uganda they will be killed. I traveled with them for 2 weeks. We visited all the beautiful places my sister has been demonstrating, and their last word as they left Uganda was that our view about Uganda has changed. The only thing the government of Uganda needs to help us, especially the people in the diaspora, is to provide dual citizenship for our children, the minors, because that I had 4 children, and then my other uncle had about 4 children. We paid a lot of money for a Ugandan to enter Uganda, and they are supposed to be selling Uganda here. They bought shirts about Uganda, they came back, they took pictures, and they were selling our country well. Since we have our policy makers, that's what I personally wanted to put forth. Please help our children to get dual citizenship like you did for us, their parents.
Before we release the panel, was that I think I mentioned that videos, content is one of the ways that we'll be selling Uganda. It's very hard to describe something that people haven't touched and felt. So by way of, putting money where our mouths are, and, action speaking louder than words, I would like to invite Ambassador Nimisha to receive the High Commission's content in this bag. I traveled with my staff. I knew someone would sabotage and not bring a screen. So we prepared a couple of 100 flashes that have a content, that have a bank of content. So there's videos on here, there's pictures, there's high-res images. All the collateral that you need to doll up our High Commission. I know you're doing renovations now. So yesterday I was provoking you because I knew I had the solution. We need more of our wildlife on the walls, the activities. We've downloaded all of that for you in high-res. It's on here. However, it's a digital era, no? So this is just symbolic. We shall share a link. But I wanted this for pictures. Now, this way, Ambassador. Absolutely. Let me hand this over. Here, moderate.
My friend, please stand up and we take our photo moment. Look at the camera. Ambassador, please join us in Indiana and we take our picture.
All right, as they take the pictures, I would want to thank the panelists very much for doing justice to your topic. Even though we're pushing them because we're running out of time, they did a lot well. Thank you very much. As a can we please put our hands together for them? Thank you so much.